Welcome to another Planet video from UNM.nu. This is going to be the one covering Trump, Biden, and Gamma per request of Trader Crusader over at YouTube. Thank you again for your pretty much daily comments and your great feedback, great content ideas. I appreciate that to all of you out there watching this video. If you're new to Planet, watch my previous videos. I have a ton of them. If you want to learn introductory videos to Planet, if you want to do more of the experience stuff like exploring BSC scan, I have it all at this channel. But if I don't have everything you want, please leave a comment and I will do requests and do videos to your liking. So without any further ado, let me jump into today's video. This talks about Trump becoming the first president to accept Bitcoin Lightning payments for campaign donations. Now, Trader Crusader specifically wanted me to talk about the recent convictions of President Trump, former President Trump, and how that could affect him going forward. Talking to my best friend from kindergarten, he's been researching Trump a lot more recently than I have. Some of the stuff Trump is trying to do is pretty scary, as he's trying to get a lot of immunity. He has a lot of power in the courts, going from the Supreme Court all the way down. When he was president, he was nominating people who are definitely pro-Trump. And, Trump is trying to get some immunity. Since he just got convicted, he's now a felon running for president. He's got some laws trying to get passed through the Supreme Court and other courts, trying to essentially give him immunity as president. My friends talked about him, being very scary. He didn't want to give up power the last time Biden beat Trump. As we have the January 6th resurrections in DC, and so there's always the fear if he became president again, he would become supreme ruler, sort of like Putin, where, Russia is still a democracy, but we all know that Putin is controlling things, that he's a dictator. And, it is actually pretty realistic that if Trump became president, he could become dictator of the United States. That's the way this country is going. That's the way he has the courts and law enforcement and everything set up. I'm still going to vote for Trump as of right now. I know my friends really try to convince me, and I definitely take it to heart. It's scary. In terms of me personally, I plan on living in Albuquerque my entire life. I love my home here, but I have definitely been open to the idea of buying some real estate in Portugal. They seem like a very pro-crypto country. So if worst came to worst, if the United States just started going way downhill and it became scary to live here, move to Portugal, move to other crypto friendly countries. I mean, of course, then you get to World War III. Like if, Trump wants to be a supreme military leader and do scary things like Putin is with the Ukraine, then, the entire world becomes scary. It doesn't really matter where you live or what's going on. But the reason I'm voting for Trump, it's very simple. I mean, well, first of all, I have been a Republican my entire life, and most of his beliefs align with my beliefs compared to President Biden. But most importantly, this is a crypto channel. This is a Planet Finance channel. Trump is definitely way more pro crypto than President Biden. And you don't have to look any further than recently when Vivek Ramaswamy, I think that's his name, should probably go ahead and Google that. Why didn't it come up? Oh, wrong keyboard. Yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy, and I believe he's a very strong crypto person. Is that person had a talk with Trump? I should probably enter Trump. Vivek Ramaswamy was running against Trump for the Republican nomination for president, and once Vivek ran out, withdrew running for presidency. Let's see here. I thought the article would come up right away. I'm pretty sure Trump had a discussion with Vivek, or Vivek went to President Trump and just told him, you need to be pro-crypto, talked about the pros of Bitcoin. Because during Trump's previous 4 years as president, he was fairly negative toward crypto, as he kept touting how strong the US dollar is and wasn't really doing pro-crypto things. Now, President Biden's been even worse, as he just had the recent veto of a bill which would have improved custody for finance organizations here in the United States. We'll get to that in a second. So Biden's very anti-crypto. You can just see it from him nominating Gary Gensler for the SEC. And I don't need to go on my spiel of how much I hate Gary Gensler, but Trump was not super pro crypto during his first 4 years, just constantly touting how strong the US dollar is. But Vivek, tried to let him know how the US dollar and crypto can coexist, how Bitcoin can play a role, how the United States can be a leader in crypto technology, crypto mining, crypto whatever. Yeah, how Trump's Bitcoin revolution could scramble the electoral map. Here we go. Vivek told ex-President Trump to oppose the central bank digital currency to CBDC. So I definitely like what Vivek did in terms of sharing his crypto knowledge with Trump. So that's why I'm still going to be a Trump supporter. I have a bobblehead of Trump going back to before he was elected president the first time. So, I'm glad Trump got elected the first time. He shook up politics. He shook up the world. I think in a good way is we are in that system where just, the established powers in politics were just keeping things very stale in the United States. Trump shook things up as I thought he actually helped foreign relations. He tried to at least get along with Putin and Russia, Kim Jong-il and North Korea. And you can make an argument that maybe we should be tougher on those countries, but just for the peace of the world, I think it's better that we have a strong relationship with Russia, North Korea, and keep the peace than try to instigate things like Biden did, therefore causing a multi-year war with the Ukraine. So those are my thoughts. Moving on to Biden. Biden vetoed the Congress crypto custody bill recently, and why it matters. It's a major impediment to traditional financial companies offering services that involved holding onto customers' cryptocurrency. This is, again, just another barrier of entry to crypto companies in the United States. We all know the state of New York is tough on crypto companies, as they had the bill back in the day, which just caused an insane amount of paperwork, an insane amount of work, an insane amount of fees just to be able to have an exchange in the state of New York. Here, this is a case where traditional financial companies, we're talking about BlackRock, we're talking about Fidelity, many others are trying to do custody services for customers, and this is just making harder for them to do so as they're increasing their fees. It's just creating more barriers to make crypto accessible to the public. I've got my crypto on a ledger. I'm very safe, but a lot of these billionaires, huge players in the United States, they'd rather have Fidelity custody it for them, which I know goes against the foundation of Bitcoin, which is that it's all self-custodied, it's all decentralized. The tenets of the foundation of crypto is, being a purist, how it could get rid of the US dollar, how it would be a superior form of monetary transactions throughout the world. But, being more realistic, I don't think Bitcoin's going to overtake the US dollar during my lifetime. I think it can coexist and become a major player along with the US dollar, with people slowly switching from their local governmental currencies to Bitcoin over time. But this isn't going to happen overnight, as you've seen. We've made a lot of progress over 15 years, but we have a long way to go. And I think, again, just to be more realistic, once you start saying overthrowing the US dollar, that's not going to go far in the United States. You got to talk about how Bitcoin can coexist with the dollar to get people like Biden and Gensler more on board, and hopefully keep them from just keep putting up these barriers. But one way to get rid of these barriers is to nominate Trump this November 2024 in the United States. I'm sure he'd appoint somebody way better than Gary Gensler to the SEC, somebody who would be more pro-crypto, which would help the United States. That's the thing that bugs me the most, is putting up these barriers to companies in the United States. What does that do? That just makes Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand for you, Joe. I mean, all these other places around the world way more appealing for crypto companies to do custody. Is why would you want to pay a ton of fees in the United States to hold your custody of Bitcoin in the United States when you just set up a company in Europe or elsewhere and do custody services there? So essentially what that's doing is stalemating technological development, just the business development of Bitcoin in the United States, which I think Bitcoin is going to succeed long-term, obviously. So I'd rather prefer that the United States is a leader in that category than to try to put up barriers just to try to keep the United States dollar strong and to keep Bitcoin from progressing, because I think the progression of Bitcoin is inevitable. So it's either going to happen here in the United States or it's going to happen elsewhere. So I would prefer those barriers to be removed to help progress in the United States. Like Riot Platforms is a Bitcoin mining company, and they're doing pretty well in the United States. You want to promote Bitcoin mining. You want to promote Bitcoin custody services. You want to promote Bitcoin ETFs. Like, even if it's not the purest form of holding crypto on a ledger or other ways you can hold it in terms of cold storage, but we want Bitcoin to progress any means necessary, and this is not helping right here. So in terms of how does this relate to Gamma, because this video is already getting long, obviously, since Gamma is now tied to Bitcoin, you can see it right here. I did it in my previous video, but Gamma had this nice little increase right here and then dip right here. Guess what? That follows Bitcoin exactly right here. Because over the past 24 hours, we had Bitcoin going up and up and up in a nice steady pattern and then crashing. So Gamma is very tied to Bitcoin. And since Biden hurts Bitcoin, whereas Trump could actually help Bitcoin, I'm going for Trump this election season. But again, I did want to do that precursor because my best friend from kindergarten has talked about Trump, and he is scary. I put Bitcoin first. In terms of him becoming dictator of the United States, I'll just pray that things don't go that way, that there will be safeguards in place to keep that from happening. But we'll see how the world goes. It's a scary place anyway with Putin in power and others. But in terms of crypto, Trump is definitely the way to go. If you're a fan of Planet and Planet Finance and Gamma and Aqua, you definitely want Trump to become president because he will help the price of Gamma, the adoption of Gamma going forward way more than Biden will. So those are my thoughts. If you've enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment on YouTube, Twitter, and my other social media accounts. Try to think of more videos to do today. This is really all I had, but I want to get my queue back up to a week's worth of video. That just keeps me from stressing out. Just having a week's worth of content, that means I can do multiple videos in one day, then take a couple of days off. It's not easy to do these videos, but I want to stick to my one video per day for Planet. I think that's essential for the PAP, Planet Ambassador Program, and marketing going forward for Planet. Now is the time to ramp things up, and I want to do my part. So again, until next video, my friends, God bless and take care.